My name is Esta, and I am a yoga and meditation teacher. I started my journey with meditation over 13 years ago, and my yoga practice followed alongside. What prompted me to begin these practices, you might wonder? It was panic attacks. I grappled with depression as a teenager without really knowing what it was, and I figured anxiety was just working full-time hours while maintaining a high grade point average. I carried on like this into my early 20s until panic attacks demanded my attention. I've acquired tools and resources over the past decade that have helped me find peace, resiliency, and the magical ability to live in the present moment. These tools came in the form of meditation, breathwork, CBT therapy and EMDR with a registered psychologist, yoga of all styles, yoga with Adrian, yoga with Tara styles, self-directed yoga while listening to music, and finally, yoga teacher training. I'm a 200-hour certified yoga teacher, and all that means is that I've completed 200 hours of physical and studies related to yoga. I chose to do my studies completely online with uplifted yoga, created by my teacher, Brett Larkin. I talk about her plenty on my website, withloveesta.ca, if you'd like to learn more. I'm currently completing my 300-hour yoga teacher training. And as I deepen my studies, I'm releasing a yoga pose breakdown, a guided meditation, and a thoughtful blog post each week. I wanted to provide easy access tools that help anyone begin a meditation practice. Starting with short guided relaxations, breathwork, and visualizations, we explore all styles of meditation here. The same goes for my yoga pose breakdowns. I wanted to provide a sort of library of poses that people can access on their own time, at their own pace, and come back to again and again. Once you learn the dance moves of yoga, you can start to choreograph your own flows, and you can customize the experience to stretch or strengthen whatever you're focusing on right now. As for my Thoughts with Love blog post series, I have always been a writer. I can't count the number of notebooks I've scribbled full. Writing has always been a way for me to organize and articulate my thoughts. This creative outlet is where I ponder meditation thoughts, string together ideas from books, yoga teachers, bloggers, and creatives alike, and just generally try to share uplifting ideas. Let's get into the interview questions. Thank you to everyone who dropped me a line, and a huge shout out to my husband for hot seating me for the first draft. We'll start off with questions about me. I've broken them into 3 different categories: questions about me, questions about yoga, and questions about meditation. So why do I like yoga so much? Yoga brings me a sense of peace, a calmness. You're focused on your breath and your body moving together and being very present to avoid any injury. This practice, when coming back to it again and again, builds a peace and resiliency that can't be taken away. That's my favorite thing about yoga. Do you prefer doing yoga by yourself or in a class? I really do like yoga classes. Moto yoga is incredible if you want a hot yoga flow. Woo! But I do really like yoga on my own, which is why I learned online by myself. I started with YouTube videos, following Tara styles. I was just blown away that you could string music together with yoga flows and it wasn't like taboo. She was the yoga rebel of my time. Are there some days that you don't feel like doing yoga? Definitely. Yoga is a practice or a discipline. You really learn yourself through coming back to a practice again and again. Nobody wants to do something that's good for them all the time. I know that yoga is good for me, it strengthens me, makes me more flexible, but there's definitely times when I fall into a slump and I'm not coming back to the mat. And it's during these times that I know something is out of whack because I feel so much better after completing a yoga practice and meditating. What don't I like about yoga? I don't like that yoga has become this like pretzel shaped, showing off how flexible you can be. Yoga is really accessible to anybody at any stage of flexibility. The practice of yoga increases your flexibility for sure, but you don't need to start off being able to pull your foot behind your head. It really is just about linking your breath and your body, inhaling and rising, exhaling and lowering, and that really regulates your body in a way that calms you right down. So I don't like the stigma around yoga right now. Questions about yoga. How long does a typical yoga session take? Yoga can take as long as a few morning stretches. You can even do yoga in bed. There's some really nice poses, like child's pose, very relaxing. You're on your knees, your body is stretched over your knees. You can put a pillow underneath your chest, make it really restorative. You can spend anywhere from 2 minutes to 2 hours doing yoga, and I don't think any of that is bad. There's no such thing as too short or too long, unless of course you're sore or you're hurting. Never do something that hurts. Can anyone do yoga? 100%, like 110%. Anyone can do yoga. The 10-year-old in my life did yoga every day for a year and he loved it. He can do yoga flows alongside me and knows the pose names even. My husband's mother does yoga and it helps her with her flexibility and goes along really nicely with her strength training classes that she does every week. And I do yoga every day. I really think that anyone, no matter your age or flexibility, can do a yoga practice. What if I'm out of shape and or not flexible? Do I have to improve my flexibility before I start yoga? No, you do not have to increase your flexibility before starting yoga. Yoga will increase your flexibility, but you can start where you're at. If you can't touch your toes, maybe try a block. Putting a block on its tallest height helps you stabilize, and I use it even today. A prop isn't a crutch. A prop is complementary to your practice. So if you can't touch your toes, maybe try a yoga block, or in lieu of a yoga block, a textbook, something sturdy. Is yoga an expensive hobby? No, definitely not. Yoga is the most accessible and free hobby that you can pick up. You can do it anywhere. You don't even need a yoga mat. It's just more comfortable for your feet and knees to have a yoga mat. But try a blanket, try the grass, try your carpet. You don't need any fancy equipment to get started. Why do you feel yoga would be beneficial for an older person? As we get older, we get a little bit more stiff. Maybe there isn't as much movement. I think an older person would benefit from a yoga practice because it would increase their strength and flexibility, allowing them to be more resilient in their day-to-day life. Do you think yoga is a fad? No, I don't think yoga is a fad. It definitely is having being reinvigorated. We're coming back to it. Yoga is an ancient practice, and I deeply, deeply honor the Sanskrit names and the original practice as deeply spiritual, but you don't necessarily need to tap into all of those aspects to enjoy yoga. Yoga can be just a physical experience for you in which you are connecting your breath and your body, or you can go into the deeper side of the spiritual realm there and really explore chakras, and manifestation and the energy of Kundalini. Yoga is multifaceted, but I don't think it's a fad. I don't think it's going away, and I think it's a really unique tool that helps people understand themselves and the world around them.
Is it okay for a man to do yoga?
Yes, I think men should do yoga. I think more men should do yoga. Men are typically, the masculine traits are very strong and strength building, but I think that is really nicely complemented by some stretching, by some mobility movements that you wouldn't necessarily get by just picking up heavy things and putting them back down. And that will only help you get stronger. So yeah, I think men should do more yoga.
How long does it take to become really good at yoga?
Whew. You should have a daily practice if you want to become really good at yoga. I have been doing yoga for 13 years now, and I would say I'm good at yoga. But being really good at yoga is pretty subjective because it depends on what your metrics are. If you think being good at yoga means that you can do king pigeon pose and pull your foot up behind the back of your head, and you're not very flexible, then you might not reach that really good at yoga level. But if you're defining really good at yoga as really in tune with your breath and your body and knowing your limits and understanding how your body moves, that's a little bit more attainable. And I think that comes, like I said, from a daily practice.
How does yoga help you in your everyday life?
Yoga, like any physical practice that you're committing to, really teaches you how you talk to yourself, how you respond to things, how you respond to stress, how you talk to yourself. And this self-awareness, I think, really helps people show up as the best version of themselves in their day-to-day life. I look at my yoga and meditation practice as filling my own cup, and from that full cup, I can meet others. I can be of service to my family and my community by taking care of my own needs, by doing a yoga and meditation practice that really brings me into the present moment, keeps me self-aware. Am I projecting onto somebody? Am I just hungry? That body awareness. It just brings in so many different personal and soft skill building techniques that I think are invaluable in the rest of your life.
What kinds of yoga styles are there? So many. As mentioned, there's hot yoga, there's hatha yoga, there's yin yoga, there's yoga to relaxing music, there's yoga to electronic music, house music, there's the spiritual kundalini side of yoga. The styles really go on, and I look forward to exploring more of them with you. Last category is questions about meditation. So how do you start meditating?
I started meditating with guided meditation, and I think that's the easiest place for folks to begin. Meditating isn't the idea of emptying your mind and thinking of nothing. I don't think that's quite possible unless you've been meditating your whole life. Meditating to me is becoming present. It's usually relaxing the body, bringing the breath down to a calmer level. And a guided meditation helps you do that in a way that you aren't distracted because you're focusing on what's being said. As you meditate, as you go further into that practice, you can start to experiment with meditation silently, or meditating while you're walking, or a yoga nidra in which you are deeply relaxed, almost in a sleep state, but still with a seed of awareness. So there's different styles of meditation, and I
really think starting means picking up a guided meditation, and there's so many apps and YouTube videos available. I post guided meditations every Monday on Spotify and YouTube. You can certainly download an app like Balance, Simple Habit, Insight Timer. Many of these apps are free, and you can get a premium version, but just starting with somebody walking you through bringing your energy to a calmer state gets you going. How do you meditate every day?
You really need to be committed, I suppose. You need to make it a priority for you, and come back to it at a time that works best for you. Linking it to another habit will help you stick to a sense of consistency. I really like meditating in the shower. I don't think you need to be in a cross-legged seat with your hands in a certain position to meditate. I do a gratitude meditation in the shower, and it's 10 minutes, and then I know the end of the shower time too. Meditating every day is just committing to that practice, just like anything else.
Is there a minimum time length to meditate for?
Just like yoga, no. Meditation can be as simple as taking a few breaths, just giving yourself a timeout. It can be 20-minute guided meditation. It can be a 1 hour, silent meditation. The time of meditation can range from 2 hours to 2 minutes. You can choose what's working for you.
And lastly, what kinds of meditations are there?
There are many, much like yoga. There are guided meditations. There are sound bowl meditations. If you've heard of sound baths, where they take crystal bowls and you listen to the ringing of the bowls. There's chanting meditations, which are really nice for like your throat chakra, if you're into that kind of thing. Meditation styles vary. There's visualization, there is relaxation, yoga nidra. The styles really go on, and I'm really looking forward to exploring more of them with you.
So thank you for joining me for this self-interview. Thank you again to anyone who sent me some questions, and I so look forward to continuing to provide meditations, yoga pose breakdowns, and continuing to share my thoughts with you. Thanks for being with me. With love, Esta.